Hi, my name is Matthew, and I'm doing Beccaria.
I'm Lopez. I'm doing Voltaire.
My name is Jason. I'm doing a Baron de
My
Montesquieu.
name is Brooke Cantwell, and I'm doing Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Hello, I am a journalist about Enlightenment thinkers, and there's an Enlightenment thinker that I believe his ideas could change laws around the world. There's an Italian philosopher named Cesare Bonsana Beccaria, and he specifically wrote about citizens' civil rights. He said and believed that torture was a cruel way and a brutal way to punish someone, and torture should be banned everywhere. He also said that the punishment of someone's crime should be based on the gravity of the crime committed. His ideas mainly wanted to help people and challenge the government to be more fair to citizens in general. Beccaria believes that torture is a completely unnecessary and inhumane way of punishing someone for their crimes. So he decided that it would be a good idea to get his idea in public. Beccaria was born on March 15th, 1738, in Milan, Italy. He went to a Jesuit school, and he did not like the way the school treated the students. He then produced an essay called On Crimes and Punishments. It dealt with criminal justice of the world. Many rulers, such as Catherine the Great, endorsed it, and Thomas Jefferson and John Adams quoted the essay. This showed that the government agreed with the ideas that Beccaria had created throughout his time being an Enlightenment thinker.
Baron de Montesquieu was a well-known French author. In Britain, Montesquieu studied political liberty. He thought Britain was the best governed and politically balanced country in the world at the time. The separation of powers is what Montesquieu named this, the division of powers, into separate branches. Montesquieu attempted to simplify the British system as much as possible. His concept included the book on the spirit of laws in 1748. He proposed that the separation of powers would prevent a single individual or organization from attaining undue power. Power should be a check on power, argued Montesquieu. Political cities in Britain's North American colonies, like Montesquieu's book, the United States Constitution, which is still in use today, is based on this concept of checks and balances. Montesquieu was born in La Brie, France, on January 18th, 1789. On February 10th, 1755, he died in Paris, France. Baron de Montesquieu came from a long line of military families in the 16th century. His father, Jacques de Secondat, was knighted for service to the kingdom. Marie Françoise de Pesnel, Montesquieu's mother, was a devout woman of half-English descent. She was the owner of a vineyard in La Brie. When Montesquieu was 27, he was socially and financially stable. He wanted to exercise his judicial function and to advance his knowledge of science, geology, biology, and physics.
Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a political philosopher who was born in Switzerland and lived in France. He was born June 28, 1712, and passed July 2, 1778. He was a firm believer in individual liberty. On many occasions, Jean-Jacques Rousseau differed with many other Enlightenment thinkers. A man is born free, and he is chained everywhere, he wrote. He believed that people were the only ones who could build a good government. The general will of society directed this government. This was referred to as a direct democracy. People consented to give up a part of their freedom of the common good. In his book, The Social Contract, he discusses his political views, beliefs, and philosophy. From Rousseau's perspective, the social contract is an agreement between free individuals to construct a society and a government. Rousseau was a firm believer in the government came about as a result of the governed assent. He also felt that the society should be governed by just laws. He advocated for a very broad democracy. He argued that all aristocratic titles should be abolished and that all citizens and individuals should be treated equally. Rousseau's ideas impacted a number of French revolutionary leaders. Rousseau is acknowledged for influencing several parts of the French Revolution. Rousseau's theories are significant in developing the human concept of rights.
Voltaire was considered the brightest philosopher and had one of the biggest impacts in the Enlightenment. His birth name was François-Marie Arouet. He wrote and published over 70 books of philosophy, political essays, and drama under the name Voltaire. Voltaire had often created enemies with the government, clergy, and aristocracy. He had a sharp way of words which created him enemies in the French court. He was sent to prison twice and was exiled to England for over 2 years after his second sentence. Voltaire flourished in England. He wrote all of his notebooks in English, and in England he met literary men such as Alexander Pope, Jonathan Swift, and William Congreve. Voltaire had many enemies but never stopped fighting for tolerance, reason, freedom, religion, and freedom of speech. His famous quote was, "I do not agree with a word you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." When he came back to France in 1728, he presented English literature as a model to his patrons. Voltaire used his pen like it was his favorite weapon in a war. Voltaire and Frederick II's relationship failed. Voltaire hated correcting Frederick's bad poetry, while Frederick suspected Voltaire of illegal business dealings. Voltaire started trying to ruin the king's image by saying he was a nasty, monkey, perfidious friend. In return, Frederick called Voltaire a miser, a dirty rogue, as well as a coward. Voltaire was born on November 21st, 1694 in Paris. He passed away on May 30th, 1778, at 83 years old.